campaign map for Total War Rome 2. Sound up? Yeah. Thank you. So, this is it. It's colossal. It's enormously detailed. It's the biggest campaign map we've ever made in any Total War game. So, and the point that we're at, we're halfway through. Well, sort of towards the end of a long campaign game at the moment. We're about 200 turns in, and who you see before you here is Julius Caesar himself. We're playing as Rome as the House of Julii, and Caesar, as a general, is leading the 13th Legion of Rome on an expedition in North Africa. And we've committed a bit of a diplomatic goof here in our game because we've marched Caesar into Egypt, and we had this great trade agreement with Egypt, which Egypt has broken off with us. Now, that trade agreement brought us a lot of coin. Now, the problem with this is that we've expanded our empire really quickly. We'll show you that in its scope in a second. We've expanded our empire really, really quickly. And we've not been upgrading our farms, not tending to our civic matters properly. We've been conquering and expanding. So what's happened is our farms are not producing enough food for our growing populations. And the people are getting hungry, and hungry people get angry, and angry people rebel. So we're at a point where our populations are, it's kind of danger point. So if we pop up to the strategic overview map, this shows you the full extent of the Rome 2 campaign game, stretching right over from Spain in the west there, Portugal and Spain, right over to the province of Bactria here, which is kind of modern-day Afghanistan, effectively. And you can see our empire marked out in red here. We've expanded fairly significantly from our early beginnings in Italy and Rome itself. We've pushed into Spain, north into the kind of tribal barbarian lands of Gaul and Germania. We've got a little foothold in North Africa here, and we're starting to meet the kind of exotic cultures of the East. We're pushing into Syria here. So as you can see, we're playing a very expansionist game. You know, there's a number of different kind of ways that you can win a game in Rome 2. There's 3 different sort of victory types, but we're really playing for a kind of territorial victory here. So, but there's ways we can improve our population happiness, at least on a local level. And so what we're going to do is we're going to examine the province system here. So we have this new province system in Rome 2, which is a way of parceling up land. So a number of regions are effectively managed from a single capital city. So the capital city of the province of Cilicia here is Tarsus. And so if we go to Tarsus, because we own every region in this province, we can manage the province from here. And because we own every region, we can issue edicts, which are policies which work across the entire province. So what we're going to do is we're going to endorse festivities in this region here. So what this edict does is, this is basically Rome throwing cash at Tarsus, at the province of Cilicia, for these people to go and have fun, host some gladiatorial games, drink lots of wine, have some religious festivals, all that good stuff. So their happiness will rise over time. And that's a really great use of the edict system. But of course, we still need to think about the bigger picture about our entire empire and how we're going to improve our population happiness. So if we jump back to Alexandria, it's politics next, isn't it? So the political system is a representation. So this is one of our new systems in Rome 2, and it's a representation of the internal power struggle of your faction. So while we still have diplomacy, you dealing with other factions as well, politics sees you dealing with the political entities that make up your faction. So we're the ruling house in Rome, we're the House of Julia. But we've got to contend with the House of Cornelia and Junior as well, who have their own objectives, they have their own desires. So now you'll see the House leader here and all the generals and senators underneath him. Now, they all contribute their ambition and gravitas ratings to build up a pool of a resource that we call political capital, represented by the sliders on the side here. And as that builds up, you can expend it on certain political actions between you and the other houses. So, for example, we might choose to marry off a daughter to one of the other houses to balance the power between the two houses, because it could be the case that our expansion has raised our power, our political capital, really high, and these other guys are starting to paint targets on our backs. We're risking a civil war if we get too powerful too early. So we may want to balance the power by doing that. So there's a number of different options you've got with dealing with the families and pushing the power between the families and keeping things balanced, or making a play to control everything yourself. So, but you can also spend your political capital on dealing with subjects who appear in this panel here. These are kind of characters of interest who appear over time in your empire, and they're a mixture of kind of real historical characters taken from history and sort of flavour characters we've made ourselves. So Marcus Tullius Cicero here, rabid anti-Caesarite. He's been railing against us in the Senate and lowering our political capital. So we've got a number of ways of dealing with him. We could support him, really bad idea because he's not working in our favor. We could attempt to extort cash, which isn't really relevant here, but maybe a famous trader comes into town, he's very rich, and maybe you want to get some cash out of him. And we can attempt to discredit him, but we're playing the ruthless Romans, so we're going to go ahead and assassinate him, or attempt to. Right, so the assassins found their mark, they've killed Cicero, he's no more, he's no longer a threat to our political career. However, if for whatever reason that assassination had not been successful, then Cicero may have redoubled his efforts against us in the Senate, so we'd have to find a new way of dealing with him. So what we're going to do now is jump back to Alexandria and take a little bit of a closer look at the campaign map itself and some of the features. So you can see there's a lot of detail here. There's a lot of flora and fauna. You can see the camels here. We've got elephants over here, trade routes, and this isn't all just eye candy. These camels and elephants, for example, give you a hint to the kind of exotic battlefield units you'll be able to recruit if you own that province, or whether you might be hiring mercenaries there. So likewise, we've got the great wonders of the ancient world. There's two represented here. We've got the lighthouse at Alexandria. We've got the great pyramids of Giza, and again, these are functional working parts of the map. So if you own a province with a great wonder or two great wonders in it, then these will confer local and global bonuses. They'll buffer your empire in some way. So the pyramids, for example, give you a kind of drip feed income, because believe it or not, even back then they were a popular tourist destination for wealthy Roman visitors. And owning them also increases your ability to build stuff, your construction ability. And talking of construction, we're going to hop over to Antioch in Syria and show you how we can evolve the campaign map, the look of the campaign map through the way we play. So Craig's just built a new building slot in the city here. You can see that transformation happening, which gives us more space. We've expanded the city, so we can now build a shrine to Mars, which is a great shrine to build because it instills any units recruited there with the fervour of the war god, so they'll come out with a greater morale. But as we play, these cities will expand. The campaign map starts to change according to the impact you have on it. You can see sort of shanty towns and urban sprawl beginning outside the city here. And that city, could grow 3 or 4 times the size it is at the moment if we keep expanding it and investing in it. And if we slide over to Germania in Northern Europe, we're going to show you a different bit of landscape, a different culture, and some more examples of this landscape change. So as you can see, this is a very agriculturally focused city. We've got a big farm complex beginning here. If you can see all the woodlands around the edge. These will start getting cut down as that city expands and those resources start to get consumed. And you can feel the difference here. It's windy, it's cold. We'll have wolves howling in the woods and things. This kind of gives you a hint of how much of a different experience you'll get if you play as one of the barbarian cultures, for example. These are the Swabi, one of our Germanic tribes. So if we have a closer look at the city itself, you can see the architecture is very different. It's more about sort of huts and longhouses and standing stones rather than sort of pillars and columns and marble of a Greco-Roman culture in the Mediterranean. It's a very, very different look and feel, and it's very, very different to play one of these factions. So we're going to jump back down to Alexandria again, and we're going to attempt one last diplomatic parley with the Egyptians, see if we can get, a trade agreement back in place and bring that income back into our empire. So now if we open the diplomacy panel, what Craig's hovering over here is a new feature of diplomacy. This is the relations panel, and this is our way of offering much greater transparency over the AI's decision-making to the player. So what you're seeing here is literally a historical list of our actions that we've performed as a player in this playthrough, by which this particular factional AI is judging us. So, for example, we've committed war atrocities against Macedon. We've marched into Macedon, smashed up its cities, taken slaves to bolster our own economy. The Egyptians quite like that. They don't like the Macedonians, so that's great. However, we have trespassed on territory. We've entered Egypt under arms, with a massive army. So that's a huge negative modifier there. On balance, they're unfriendly towards us, and quite understandably, it was really our fault. But factional AI can also play factional AI personality can also play a part. Some faction AI is more amenable to diplomacy. We'll look for more peaceful measures to resolving a situation, while some are, of course, more aggressive or expansionist. So there's a number of different sort of personality types. So we're going to hope they're diplomatic in nature. So we're going to go in and attempt to get a trade agreement on the table.
and speak of your concerns to Mighty Phil's humble representative.
Right, so we're going to throw a trade agreement down. We're also going to offer to make a client state of Egypt, which isn't, you know, the pure servitude you might imagine it would be. All right, they pay us an annual tithe in gold, but this also means that they can call on the might of the Roman army at any time, and we are honor bound to honor that. So, you know, they can still carry on expanding and playing their empire game, but it gives them protection, and we know that they're at war with a number of people. So, let's give it a go.
Pharaoh's ears may blessings fall on him with this proposal. Consider your words rejected.
So a very polite no from the Egyptians there. Okay, we're going to just assume diplomacy's failed now. So this is a total war game. So there may be another way to resolve this situation and unlock all that gold in Egypt. So let's take a closer look at Caesar and the 13th Legion. So armies have really changed in Rome too. If we have a look at the army management panel here. So armies themselves, while we still have individual unit veterancy as warriors fight, they gain experience, the army as a whole gains experience as well, and it ranks up. There's up to 10 ranks each army can get. As it ranks up, you can issue it with a tradition. Now, this is an ongoing buff to some aspect of the army's ability to fight. So, for example, we've got engineering experts and indomitable legionaries here, which is a good buff to heavy infantry, which is, you know, great for Romans because they're all about the heavy infantry. So, and you can build these up over time, or you can just pick a couple and you can upgrade them up to 3 times as well. And doing that, you can either build an army that's generally better at lots of things, or is really focused to doing one thing really well. We could issue siegecraft specific traditions here, for example, and really level them up and turn this army into our kind of principal city smasher, which is on the forefront of our expanding empire, you know. So you can really, really specialize. You can see the history here. You'll get a history of its sort of battles won and lost and what it's been doing. We can change the emblem, which will, you know, be reflected on the model there. We can even change the name of the legion, change it to something personal that we like if we wish to. So, you know, a lot's changed with armies. And the beauty of the tradition system is if this army, the worst should happen and it's crushed on the field of battle, you can go back to Rome or one of your cities and you can re-raise the banner of the 13th Legion. You can pack a new army under the banner of the 13th Legion. And while all those guys will be green recruits without all that individual unit veterancy that the previous 13th Legion had, they will benefit from the traditions. So they'll still get the traditions and all the army experience that you've given to the banner effectively. So, you know, the 13th Legion can live on. And it's there to kind of symbolize this idea that, you know, famous battalions from history outlive, you know, the battalion itself outlives individual members of itself, and the training that they give their troops goes on through the ages. So we've, if we take a look at Caesar himself now as well, again, Caesar can rank up to 10 times, just like armies can. And we've got a massive pool of skills that we can give to generals now. So we've done away with the kind of simplistic skill trees of Shogun 2, and we now have a massive pool of skills that we can draw from. And again, we could upgrade individual skills. And these will really improve his ability to command men, to, you know, improve individual unit abilities on the battlefield as well, and his special abilities. They'll pick up traits as they go, and they perform heroic deeds. They'll be awarded with traits over time as well. And ancillaries will appear and join him. Sort of retinue characters will appear and bring, you know, extra buffs to some aspect of his command or abilities. We've really streamlined recruitment as well. So we've done away, and, you know, with a campaign map this big, you don't really want that system that we had in Shogun 2. It wouldn't really work, where you build and you recruit individual units and march them all the way across the map to meet up with your army, you know, 15 provinces away. So now what we're doing is you recruit directly from within the army, and they appear within the army. So if you're in friendly territory near a friendly city, you can recruit your core army units, such as these guys down here. But wherever you are in the world, you can always recruit mercenaries. They're much more expensive to upkeep, but if you need a boost just before going into a battle, you can go and throw some cash at the local mercenaries, get them to join your army, and take them into battle with you. So they'll be and as you can see here, what's represented is the kind of culturally relevant units to this area that we're in. We're in North Africa, so we've got camels, Egyptian archers, Egyptian swordsmen, and war elephants. And who doesn't want some war elephants in their army? So we're going to go ahead and hire some of those, and we'll be taking those into battle shortly. I just want to point out this guy here. This is one of our new agent types. We've got 3 new agent types. Now he's a champion. He's a kind of fearless lone warrior, and he can act alone. He can harass armies out on the campaign map, so he could quite easily come over and cause some problems for us. You know, so whittle units down, whittle morale down. There's a number of things he can do, but he can also be embedded with a friendly army, and he can act as a kind of drill sergeant and train them up, so their experience gains will happen much quicker. So, yeah, we don't really want to be anywhere near him right now because Egypt doesn't like us. So, I think it's time to
At your command.
put the kid gloves away and declare war on Egypt.
To victory! To battle!
So, as the battle matchup happens here, you'll have noticed there are a couple of navies in the Nile, in the River Nile here. So, what will happen, because they're in the sort of the catchment radius of this battle, they'll be drawn in, and we'll see a combined battle where land units and naval units can coexist and fight on the same battle map. So, on the banks of the River Nile. So, this is the battle we're about to show you. So, Craig and Will are going to take over from me here, and they're going to talk you through the battle while I play through it.
Okay, so Al
Holding screen.
is going to load up the battle for us now.
Okay.
Hello, Birmingham.
Hey, Birmingham!
Yeah, come on.
That's incredibly polite. Hello, Birmingham!
Birmingham. Yeah.
This is the closest we're going to get to doing Rally Point live, so I'm a little bit excited about this.
Okay, so what Al's going to show you right now is the Battle of the Nile, which is basically, he's going to play as Egypt. So he's controlling this big old hill. Bunch of Roman guys trying to get up there. He's got a load of cool units available to him. He's got scythe chariots, elephants, all kinds of cool stuff.
Deployable balls of fire.
Yes, who can forget those?
This is the demo we got running on the stand at the moment, so if you haven't had a chance to play it, come on over after. If you have had a chance to play it and if you've beaten it, please feel free to judge Al and all his gameplay.
Yeah. If Al sucks, let him hear it. So yeah, you can play this for yourself as well. Do check that out on the floor. You can see we've got, it's one of our combined land and naval battles as well. So we've got naval units in there, we've got land units, all kind of flows in quite nicely.
Oh yes, it's one of our amphibious assault battles.
Of course, one of the classics is if you spend too much time messing around with your navy and you forget about the guys on the hill.
Yeah.
Bad times.
But spend too much time messing around with your army and your navy just sinks.
Yeah. Don't let your navy sink.
Don't let your navy sink and don't die.
Don't die.
This is our advice we've been giving to everybody is don't die. That's Rome.
Yeah.
Don't die.
If you play as Rome, don't die. That's the only tip.
We're ready to begin judgment.
My body is ready.
My body is Reggie.
Ready.
The Romans are attacking in force, but we hold an excellent defensive position on the hill. Maintain the high ground and the advantage it offers at all costs. Our war elephants and scythe chariots will smash through their front lines as they approach. Our ballistae will rain down the fires of Zeus Ammon upon their heads. The Roman fleet attacks from the south. Beware, as they may disembark troops to bolster their land forces. However, our ships stand ready to intercept. Armed with ballistae and our finest archers, they are more than a match for the Roman fleet. Our first priority should be to send them forwards.
So here we go.
Romans advance, all pomp and spectacle.
So,
Show them how a real army fights. Smash them into the river.
here's Al as Egypt, and here's some of the cool units he's got. He's got the phalanx guys. Really, really, really difficult to get past.
Oh, yeah.
Really defensive. Burning balls, send those down a hill and they'll kind of go down and follow the terrain on the way down.
A little bit of physics-based death there, which is always nice. Oh!
Nice.
Wow! Off the bat, Al.
Straight off the bat.
Jeez.
Massive ballistae strike. Nice.
Could at least let them get halfway up the hill. Right, naval, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so Al's got to basically deal with this Roman fleet, because if these guys get around the back and disembark their guys onto the land, that's going to cause him all kinds of problems.
Al's going to suffer a horrible pincer attack on the top of the hill.
Horrible pincers are never good.
Never good. What's super cool about the naval units this time round is that these are all land units waiting to disembark. If Al manages to win this battle with units to spare, he can land them and do the same thing the Romans are trying to do. Be like, right, Egyptians up the hill, Egyptians down the hill.
And he's just actually rammed one of the Roman ships there, so that's a viable tactic these days. Big old ship on a little ship, just get in there and ram it.
Jesus. So while the naval battle rages, the Romans try and make their way up the hill.
They're trying to get up the hill. Now, the Romans are actually playing quite well here. They're sticking together in formation. They're grouping. You can also set these guys to a looser formation, which will make any ballistae strikes that come down on them a little bit less impactful.
Spreading them out nicely across the hill makes them much harder to hit with artillery, so hopefully death for them will be at a bare minimum.
So Al, how are you going to deal with these guys? Ballistae.
Oh, jeez!
Yeah, they're pretty good, those ballistae.
You notice a few of those guys are making it up. It wasn't all chaos. I assume having a guy in plate mail fall on you probably knocks you over.
I can see a cheeky flank going on here.
A cheeky flank. That's the worst kind of flank.
It's the best kind of flank.
Unleash the balls, Al.
See if I actually hit anyone.
The balls are off. And they're going nowhere, Al.
Oh,
What are you doing?
Al! The balls have misfired.
So you can select these and then right click on them and it will basically...
Oh, no! No!
Ow!
Oh!
Oh, man.
But they are picking up speed. These should hit nicely.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course, history is written by the victors, so if we do win this, we'll just write that bit out.
Yeah, those guys died valiantly doing something amazing. But they still got enough morale. They haven't routed, so we can run them down the hill. Come on.
Al has got his chariots out.
Chariots downhill with scythes. They got blades on the
We've got
side of them.
sights. So this is unit cam. If you hit insert when you're playing this, you go right down into a unit cam. And you can see what it's like to ride a chariot into a bunch of guys.
Oh! Jeez!
They died
Lawnmower.
heroes. They were heroes, man. More balls.
More balls.
Release the balls. Alright, this is good. This is good.
This is good.
Yeah! 10-pin bowling with Romans.
You better not lose this already. This is...
I can see some elephants there, Will.
That's a few 100 pounds of muscle and tusk.
Elephants incoming as well. Elephant on elephant action.
It's an elephant off.
Come on.
Oh,
Yes.
jeez!
Elephants are great. They also have kind of an internal rage meter. So if they get attacked by enough missiles, they'll basically get crazy and start attacking your own guys.
Yeah.
So
If they run amok, they will stamp over anything. They don't care if it's friendly, they don't care if it's enemy, just bang! Stampy.
these phalanxes really, really good defensively. Unless an
Oh,
elephant
this thing
comes
gets
through
moved!
like that.
Now what's going on? Archers away!
Archers are a really good way of taking down elephants. Archers are pretty much the only thing that will take them down well. And javelins as well.
Our javelins are really good for elephant takedowns.
And ballistae, they're pretty good on elephants.
Ballistae are good for everything except for, I don't know, moving.
So we've got this map down here as well. There's also a tactical map that you can pull up to.
If you can show us the tactical map, Al, as soon as you know, in your own time.
So there you go. You can pull up to this full 3D map and you can use it to move around the battlefield as well, which is quite handy.
It's really good for getting an overview, especially when you're trying to navigate like both your navy and your army simultaneously. You can see the whole thing going on.
See, Rome is actually struggling quite a bit here. I'm just wondering what's going on here with the navies, because it looks like Rome's doing all right down there. We have elephants everywhere. It is chaos. Camels! Because camels.
Oh!
No, that's your guys out. No!
Ow! No!
This wasn't in the script.
And the Romans have suffered horrible casualties trying to go up this hill. It's not looking good for them.
No. Yeah, the Romans have pretty much been mangled.
It's time to mop it up.
Looks like they're doing all
job,
right on
Al.
the sea though. How's the naval battle going now?
Yeah, how is the naval battle going?
The guys you forgot and let die.
Yeah. You just screamed bombs away and just left them to it.
Yeah, the Romans are doing all right down there. So it's really important to divide your attention between the two areas. Like, if you spend too much time doing the navies, you're going to forget about the guys on the hill and vice versa. So
I mean, the combined amphibious battles are really interesting because there's more weight to the naval battles than there were before. Like, these little dudes are all drowning in a bundle.
Oh no! Oh man!
Al, are those your
Oh,
guys?
the humanity!
What have you done? Why are the Romans on your boat?
Hey!
Well done, Al. Possible.
Well played.